Hey, what's going on YouTube? And in this video, we are going to add a button navigation bar or button navigation menu to our application. And we're going to use Fragment to switch from different views. So let's get started. As always, go ahead and in Android Studio, go to File, New, and New Project. Choose an empty activity. I'm naming mine bottom menu, then go ahead and click Finish. Once you click Finish, there are a couple of things that you need to add. For example, you need to go into Gradle, the up level Gradle, and you need to include this support design. In my case, I'm using 28.0.0. Once you add that, go ahead and go into Activity Main. And here I'm going to remove this text view. And instead of constraint layout, I want to make this a relative layout. And here I'm going to do button. And this should give you a suggestion. Just go ahead and press enter. And notice that we have a button navigation view here. So I'm going to say for width, match parent. For height, I'm going to set it to wrap content. I want to give an ID of button navigation, so I'm going to say button navigation. I want to layout gravity. And I'm going to align it to the bottom, so I'm going to say align parent button through. I want to set the item icon tint to drawable. Nav underscore item underscore selector. And we haven't created that one yet, so I'm going to copy this one. And I'm going to paste it here, but in this case, this should be item text color. And finally, I want to say add menu, bottom nav menu. So next, let's go ahead and create the menu. So here, let's go into the rest folder, right click on it, new, and it should be new directory. Let's call this one menu. And inside the menu, let's right click and select menu resource file. And I'm going to call this one, let me see, bottom nav menu .xml. Press enter, click add, and let's expand this, go inside the menus. And here we need to add items for each entry in our menu. So I'm going to give it an ID of a navigation home. I'm going to give it an icon of drawable IC home, which we haven't created yet. We need to change this eventually. And title of string title home. And I'm going to copy this, duplicate it 2 more times. But the second item, the ID will be Dutch board let's call it navigation dashboard. And this one I'm going to call it navigation custom. Okay, and need to change this also to title dashboard and title underscore custom. So let's go into swing.xml and let's add those entries. Should be title home. All right, so now it works. So now we need to add these icons. So let's go into Drawable, New, Vector Asset, and I'm going to add, click on all, choose Home. Okay, I want to make it white, choose, I'm going to leave it at 24 dp and finish. And I need to add two more, so I'm going to repeat this again. This time I'm going to pick a dashboard. Next, finish. And this time I'm going to pick a list. All right, so I'm going to update the icons here inside the menu XML layout. This one should be dashboard, and this one should be list. All right, so we're done with the menu XML layout. I also wanted to point out that I added some custom colors to reflect the theme of the navigation bar. Next, let's go into main activity, and we need to add this Nav Item Selector here. And I already have the code, so I'm going to paste it here. All right, so next what I want is to add 3 XML layout for the fragment. So I'm going to right click on layouts, and I'm going to go inside a layout resource file, and I'm going to say dashboard underscore fragment .xml, and I'm going to change this to a relative layout. And the only thing that I want to add here is a text view, and this text view is going to be wrap content, and text is going to say dashboard fragment, and text size, let's do 22 SP. Okay, so now let's go ahead and copy this, and we need to create 2 more fragments, 2 more XML fragment layouts. So repeat the same step. This one I'm going to name it home fragment. I'm going to copy this, and instead of dashboard, I'm going to say home fragment. Another fragment. This one I'm going to call it custom underscore fragment. And change this to custom. All right, so that's it for the fragments. So now let's go into the main activity. And inside the onCreate method, let's do fragment manager equals to get support fragment manager. Next, fragment manager, actually fragment transaction equals to fragment transaction, fragment manager begin transaction. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is to create a fragment. And this one will be home fragment. Alt enter to import classes. Next, I'm going to say fragment transaction add ID. Should be navigation. Let's see, fragment underscore layout, comma, fragment. And let's go back inside the activity main.xml file under the layout directory. And here, right above the button navigation view, let's include the our fragment layout. And this one is going to be match parent and match parent. And for the ID, I'm going to give an ID of fragment layout. And also I'm going to leave it on top of the bottom navigation bar. So I'm going to say layout above ID, and I'm going to copy this ID. All right. So let's go back into main activity. And next we are going to say fragment transaction commit. All right. So next we need to implement the select the on-click event for the button navigation bar. So let's go ahead and create a reference. And create the on-click listener. And I'm going to pass a method here called navbar bottom nav listener. And let's go ahead and implement it down here. So I'm going to say private button navbar view or navigation item selected, and this button nav listener equals to new button navigation on item selected, and this is going to create the method, we need to return true here. And this is the semicolon here. And here I'm going to say fragment, this fragment equals null. And I want to do a switch statement here. And I'm going to receive a menu item in get item ID. Here I'm going to say case RID in case we select the ID of the home navigation. In that case, we're going to set this fragment equals to new home fragment. Okay, and next we're going to say break. And next we need to repeat this 2 more times. We need to change this to navigation dashboard and dashboard fragment. And this to navigation custom and custom home fragment. And next here, before returning true, I'm going to say get support fragment manager, begin transaction, replace the fragment layout with this fragment. Okay, and that's it for the main activity. And next, let's go ahead and create home fragment. So I'm going to create home fragment. Right, so basically this home fragment is going to extend fragment, and it's going to implement this onCreateView method, and it's going to return the home fragment. All right, so we need to do basically the same thing for 2 more fragments. So I'm going to copy this. And this one I'm going to call it dashboard fragment. And I'm going to paste it here. Change this to dashboard fragment. And here should be dashboard. And I need to create another fragment. This one should be custom fragment. And again, paste and change this to custom fragment. All right, so before running the app, one thing I forgot is to add a background color to the button navigation view. So inside the activity main XML layout, let's add background, and it should be background. And I'm going to set it to color. All right, so let's go ahead and run the app. Notice that when the app opens, I'm inside the home fragment. By default, it's inside the first home item in the navigation bar. Then I click dashboard, I switch to dashboard fragment and to custom fragment. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you find it helpful. And as always, remember to subscribe and see you in the next video.